Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily. I'm a medical herbalist and the founder of Pohutukawahealth, and today we are going to chat about herbs for stress. So like, hi, how you doing? You know, like it's 2021. How's shit going for you? I feel like I don't even want to get into why you might be stressed out right now. I'm a clinical herbalist, so I see folks in private practice and help them with their health conditions. And in the 7+ years that I've been working in clinic, plus the other 8-ish years that I've been working in natural health, I feel like every conversation that I've had with people around their health, there's always stress involved in some way, shape, or form. Even if you didn't make an appointment specifically to deal with stress or mental health issues, it always comes up because stress is a contributing factor to all health conditions, really. And as we learn more and more about our nervous system and the way it functions and the way things are so interconnected, we know that on a real physiological level, our stress affects our bodily functions, right? So it's a super important part of what I chat to people about in clinic. And then add COVID and, over a year of varying degrees of isolation and all the things that have come along with it. And my guess is that you, if you are a human being, are probably a little bit stressed right now. And, before I get into the herbs, I just wanted to say stress and mental health issues are something where a real holistic approach is really, really warranted. So while these plants are going to be super helpful, supportive factors, there's a few kind of disclaimers I want to make. One, I really believe heavily in relying on as many different resources as we possibly can. So if counseling is available to you, please take it. Even if you don't feel like you're in a crisis, go to counseling. It's honestly such a game changer. Regular movement and nourishing foods, whatever that looks like to you in the moment. Support networks, which is one of the things that I find is really obviously lacking right now, and part of what is contributing to people's mental health issues is not having that foundational support system. And medication, if that is the right answer for you right now, then please go chat to your healthcare practitioner. I am not an all or nothing sort of herbalist. I really believe that medication can and is very, very helpful in certain circumstances. Another quick disclaimer: if you have a serious health condition, mental health or otherwise, or are on serious medication, please chat to a healthcare practitioner before adding herbs into your regime. We class herbs into different categories depending on how they work in the body. So some of the ways that we class herbs that support stress and mental health are adaptogens. So adaptogens are herbs that help your body adapt to stress, whether that stress is mental, emotional, or physical, like recovering from an illness. These herbs are sometimes traditionally called tonic herbs, and we don't really have a comparable thing in Western medicine because they sort of help to rebalance and put your body back into homeostasis, or support the body back into homeostasis, which is its healthy balance basically. Another set of herbs are called anxiolytics. So these are herbs that help to reduce anxiety. And all the herbs that I'm going to chat to you about today both have long-standing traditional use as well as more recent clinical research to back them up. Another class of herbs are called nervines or nervines, and they kind of just support the nervous system in general. So sometimes these classifications are really old school herbalist speak, and for a long time we didn't really understand how or why they worked in the ways that they do, and that's where modern scientific research has really helped us to fill in the gaps. And sedatives are another class of herbs that we're going to chat a little bit about today. And sedatives don't work the same as a pharmaceutical sedative, so they're not going to knock you out for the night, but they do tend to have a very calming, relaxing effect on the body to help reduce stress and bring about calm. So the first herb that we're going to chat about today is ashwagandha. I have a tincture of it right here. The botanical name for ashwagandha is Withania somnifera. And ashwagandha is my favorite adaptogenic herb because it's non-stimulating. It has anti-inflammatory and immune modulating properties as well. It has been shown to support thyroid function too, which is really, really helpful, as lots of people that I see in my practice have an under-functioning thyroid. And I use ashwagandha generally for prevention. So it's not an acute herb that you generally are going to take when you're feeling ramped up and super stressed. It's like, you know, you're going to be going through a stressful period of time. For example, you know right now that you're like at the end of your rope and maybe you've been homeschooling and maybe your like kid has been sent home from daycare because of COVID cases. That's been my situation a few times. And you just know that you need a little bit of extra support to get you through. Ashwagandha is beautiful for that. So we use the root of ashwagandha generally in herbal medicine, and you can buy a powdered form of this, which you can add to milk, which is the traditional way of using ashwagandha in India, where it originates from and where it was used for thousands of years, really. Or you can use it in tincture is probably, yeah, so you can take it in a powdered form or in a tincture. You can also get capsules of ashwagandha as well. Just with all herbs, when you're looking at capsules or tablets, make sure you really know what you're getting, what the doses are, and, you know, ask a knowledgeable person for a recommendation. So what to expect when you take ashwagandha is like a gradual calming effect. The best way I can describe it is like a grounding effect. I just find it really, really helpful for calming and reducing stress. But it's not sedating. Although it does have research and it has been used traditionally to help support sleep. But generally it's like when your issues with sleeping are related to stress or anxiety and an overactive mind. So I find it takes a little bit of time to build up in the body, but it's a very calming and grounding herb, and I just absolutely love it. Research-wise, there's a ton of research on ashwagandha, and because it is such a multifaceted herb and it has been used for so many different things, there's like a really, really wide variety of research on ashwagandha, everything from like, you know, immune support and blood sugar and cholesterol, thyroid function, you know, arthritis and cognition and those kind of things. But there is also some really solid research on its support in stress, anxiety, and insomnia, which are kind of like the three horsemen, if you will, of mental health issues and the ways that herbs can support them. I also just want to put out there, if you ever want to see any of the research that I'm talking about, please feel free to contact me. You can email me at pohutukawahealth@gmail.com. My contact information is in the description box below. I also have written a blog on this topic, and all the research is linked within the blog, so I will link that down below as well. So the next herb we're going to chat about is chamomile, and I have some beautiful dried chamomile in a jar here. I will show you a good shot of that in a second. Okay, so this is lovely chamomile. You can see it's got those little yellow flower heads, and it's just a sweet little white daisy, and it smells so yummy. Chamomile is considered a mild sedative and has been used for centuries for people with stress, trouble sleeping, as well as digestive upsets, which I'll talk about more in a second. It's one of the best known herbs for stress and digestion. It's super, super safe. So there are, you know, research trials on using chamomile in infants all the way up to the elderly. The only concern with chamomile is that it's a daisy plant. And so if you have an allergy, like a known allergy to plants in the daisy family, it could be allergenic for you. But otherwise, really, really safe. I often use chamomile for folks with IBS or like nervous diarrhea or any kind of issue where stress levels affect digestion or vice versa. And like hot tip, pretty much everybody with a digestive upset, there will be some kind of trigger, like a stress trigger. And I think what's so interesting about this is as we learn more and more about the gut-brain connection, And there is an article that I've linked in my blog about that. If you're not familiar with gut-brain connection, go check it out. It's super interesting. What's so cool about this gut-brain connection is that there are all these plants, chamomile and lemon balm, which I'll talk about in a second as well, plus many, many others, which naturally work on both the gut and the brain. And I just think it's so neat that like nature knew that these things needed to be packaged up together for us to be able to use. It's really, really amazing. So I love to recommend chamomile just in a tea form. So if you can get a hold of loose chamomile flowers like I've got here in this little cup, that's a really nice way to take them. Or you can totally buy chamomile tea like in a tea bag, and you just want to really steep it for 5 to 10 minutes. If you leave chamomile for too long, it can get really bitter. So that's just a tip for you. And I would say, 3 cups a day is a really good dose for sort of like ongoing support. And like most herbs, it does really work better over time. But I do find that chamomile does work acutely as well. And particularly we can see that when it, with digestion. So like after a heavy meal, it's really quick to calm and support the gut, but it can also be really quick to calm and support the mind as well. Like I said, chamomile has been used for centuries, but there is also really solid positive research on it for use in generalized anxiety disorder, sleep issues, as well as lots of it on digestive issues for all ages. Okay, the next herb we're going to chat about is lemon balm. Okay, this is dried lemon balm from last year. It's not really much to see. I'm going to actually show you some stuff that I've got growing. I've got some tiny little seedlings, but it just smells and tastes like such a pretty lemony dream. It's so uplifting. It's so brilliant for both stress and digestion, and it's used to support sleep during times of high stress as well. The lemon balm that I've just started to grow. It's all clumpy because that's what happens when you let a 2-year-old do your seeding. But you can start to see it's got little kind of like really pretty wrinkly leaves, and that's what the leaves look like as they grow. I find lemon balm slightly more uplifting than chamomile. I think that's partly just due to its taste, although it has been researched for very similar things like generalized anxiety disorder and also sleep. I just find I tend to use it more during the day as like an uplifting stress support. And lemon balm has some really nice research on it. There was like a pretty recent clinical trial that they did that showed it was really beneficial for folks who were undergoing cardiac surgery, and they were using it for stress and anxiety related to that surgery. And I think that's a really interesting and cool trial because those people are definitely going to be on medication, and there is often a lot of concern around using herbs around surgery because of concerns with interfering with blood clotting or bleeding and things like that. And I'm definitely not recommending that you go and just take it. You, again, please work with a practitioner if you're going to have surgery. But it's cool that that research is being done because it shows that safety as well as the effectiveness. So again, I like taking lemon balm as a tea. It tastes really beautiful. I find it's a good alternative to chamomile, although I often pair them together because I find they also work really beautifully together. But if you have a daisy allergy, then lemon balm is from the mint family, so that's not a concern, and it's a nice alternative there. I find it really uplifting, but not in a stimulating kind of way. So again, it's like calms the nervous system, helps with stress and anxiety, but it's not overly stimulating. So if you're feeling like low, I find lemon balm is a really beautiful lifter. Okay, you guys, that is it for today's video. In case you can't tell, this is Emily from the future. There are actually a couple more herbs that I wanted to chat about with you, but the video is just getting too long. So I'm going to actually split it into a second part. So keep an eye out for more herbs for stress coming up. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of content coming out, more about herbs for different health conditions, herbs that you can use at home, and also doing a series on planning and planting and creating a medicinal herb garden at home, which is something that you can do along with me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.